Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited to see you here. Oh, this is so much fun. What a wonderful experience to see you. We're just letting everyone in. There's so many of you. This is unbelievable. This is crazy. This is wild. I'm so thrilled to have this many people turn. Look, the waiting room just keeps filling up. Okay. Anyhow, welcome. Welcome to this 11:11 event. Welcome to this free channeling event. Welcome to this time spent with Vagrein. I want to first let you guys know a little bit about how much gratitude and joy I'm feeling to have you here. I see already, unfortunately, I don't get to see all of you on the same screen, but I see already some familiar faces right here, and I feel so supported and loved by you guys. And on top of that, I also know there's so many here that are just testing out their experience with Vagrian for the first time. So welcome, welcome to any newcomers. Welcome and happy returns to anyone who's had any interaction. Muted. Okay. Just that's okay. Okay, so I just got muted for a second, but that's all right. We'll see how we can manage that moving forward. So today is the 11:11 portal. As someone in the comment here, Janet says, happy 11:11 portal to everyone. And I'm so glad you guys are already interacting in the comments. The first thing I'd ask you to do is to say hello in the comments if that feels good to you, if that's something that's easy for you to do. Technically, if not, don't worry about it. That's okay. I, in the meantime, will introduce myself to those of you who don't know me yet and say a little bit about what this event is going to bring this evening or morning or middle of the day for you, wherever you are, this now, basically. I'm Jessie Herman. I am the channel or the what Vagrein calls vessel for the non-physical entity group Vagrein, who I've been channeling for 5 years. Their main messages are of unity consciousness and now radical self-acceptance as well. And they are here to help us into our transition from separation consciousness into unity consciousness. The messages that come through are extremely clear. They have been consistent since the beginning. And it is absolutely my honor to have this role to be able to facilitate Vagrein's messages getting to more of those who are actually calling them out of the universe into this particular form. So today we're doing a live event, as you know. We're here and I see there's 121 of you already. That's extremely exciting for me because I've been doing these live events for basically since the very beginning of my time with Vagrein, which is 5 years ago. And I have to tell you, free events or not, at the beginning, it was rough going. Not to say that I didn't have deep appreciation for the one or two people that did turn up to these events, but it really was one or two people. That prepared me for having conversations and being in a space to receive any sort of questions that come through for Vagrein. And since then, it has become something that I've really loved doing. The problem with being a channel is that you don't get to interact much on a personal level with people. So whenever I get a chance to interact with you guys in a way such as this, or in the live events that I do, or at the retreats, it's really a wonderful treat for me. So these group events really feel so nourishing to me, and they really make me feel like I'm part of this community as well, even though for the most part, I'm in trance when I'm interacting with you guys. I'm just going to let the messages scroll down. So hello to Raya in Northern Alberta, Humboldt County. Jerry's from Humboldt County, California. Thank you. Woodstock, Illinois, Houston, New Brunswick, Canada, Florida. Hi, Otto. I see you. Hi, Steve from the UK, and lots of people from different places. Hi, Sky from India. So thank you all for tuning in. As I look at the people who have joined, sort of your names, unfortunately, again, I can't see all of your photos and beautiful images right now, but I really feel so honored to be able to share an hour and a half or 90 minutes of your time with you. I know how precious my time is. I know how precious I treat my time. So really, I want to send a heartfelt thank you to you guys for being here and for coming to hear whatever Vagrein has to say and hear what each other have to ask, etc. So that's really wonderful and really brilliant. Today, it is going to be 90 minutes. Normally, these sessions were an hour long. It's going to be a little bit longer because there are a lot of us and because I do want to give you guys a great taste of what Vagrein's like. And moving forward, any of my other group sessions are also going to be 90 minutes. It seems that that is the better format rather than the 60 minutes. So if anything else comes up by the end of this year or towards next year, it is going to be a 90-minute session. I'm just going to look at my notes quickly, which I've hidden. No, I don't have my notes anymore. Okay, so I guess I'm not doing notes. But what I wanted to also share was that the way these sessions work is Chantal, who's helping me out today, she is going to be, I don't know if you can all see her, she just waved. She's going to be facilitating the call. One of the big problems with being in trance when you're doing a call like this is Vagrein hasn't quite yet figured out how to tell which person it's time to unmute their microphone and which person it's time to ask their question. So these technical issues do require me to learn how to collaborate and delegate these types of things to people. And lovely Chantal, who ChatGPT thinks I'm in love with, is here to facilitate that today. And she will be the one who is on instinct, because we haven't figured out a better way to do this, calling on each next participant's question. In the past, these sessions have had around, I'd say the maximum about 40 people. And in a group of 40 people, Vagrein has managed to answer every question. Now, that doesn't mean that 40 people have asked questions. That means that probably about 25% of the people will ask a question and Vagrein will answer those 10 questions in an hour. Obviously, we're a lot more people now, but there tends to be this real interesting magic that goes on in that sometimes multiple people have the same or similar enough questions that the answer resonates and suddenly, boom, those questions are gone. So what I'd like to say to you is, if for some reason you're starting to feel a little bit of energy around, oh my gosh, I really like to ask a question and I'm not being called on and how do I make this happen? My advice would be to just allow yourself to relax, because there's a very good probability that your question will somehow be answered, even if you're not the one to voice it. The other thing I would like to say about voicing your question is this is being recorded. My video is currently pinned, but I'm going to set it to a back and forth type of recording, so whoever's speaking also gets recorded. So if you're not interested and you don't want your face to be visible to people, potentially on YouTube or wherever else this ends up being published, please refrain from asking a question in this particular session, and we'll find a more appropriate moment to interact in some ways, because there are other sessions that don't get shared publicly. I'm not sure if we're going to be sharing this publicly tomorrow or not, but I do want you to know that if you are going to ask a question, that is equivalent of consent to that being used in the future in whatever way. To that point also, please, if you do ask a question and you're happy to consent to be published, don't use other people's names. Respect the privacy of the third party. If you're going to be talking about your sister-in-law, your cousin, whatever it is, try and keep it so that you are as abstract as possible with, the details that might be identifiable about anyone else who's involved. So that's just the sort of like disclaimer tech side of things. Vagrein's very excited to get me into trance right away. I did want to share, however, that towards the end of the session, I'm going to be providing you guys with a link to a gift that I want to give to you, which is a demo of the upcoming membership site. And that'll have a transcript in it, a video that probably you haven't seen, and also a audio file. So do stay tuned for that. Perfect. And we will get going. I'm very excited to spend this time with you guys. I'm really thrilled that you are deciding to be here, and I really can't wait to see what Vagrein brings through for you. So on this auspicious day with all the 11s and with all the energy that comes through on this portal day, which is about figuring out, or the energies that'll bring you into your best possible future, which is about connection and community, and which, interestingly, even before I was channeling, I was actually hosting 11/11 events. If I can dig one of those up, you'll be interested in seeing it potentially as well. So enjoy this channeling question and answer with Vagrein. I do hope that everyone here finds everything they're looking for, and I will see you guys in about an hour. So have lots of fun. Enjoy yourselves. Bye. Good now to you all. We are pleased to be meeting with you in this fashion, and it is our pleasure, our desire, our intention to be as useful, as in service as possible, as is desired by all those in attendance. We are honored to have this much of an accumulation of shared intention. To be here in a co-creation with you is one of our main objectives, and therefore this is a celebratory encounter. We will answer any questions, discuss with you on any topics that feel relevant to you, and we do know that there is an energy of urgency in your topics, in some of your themes in this now moment. We do hope to dispel any sense of peril or fear that you are holding, as you know it does not serve. And the intention would be of reassurance. That is what we always do, carry with our messages. All is well. If you would like to speak directly with us, have not perhaps had an opportunity to do so, it is now that we would ask you to make your intention clear, shake your hand, or smile, bat your eyelids at our helper here in order to be in a space to ask us some questions.
Thank you, Vagrein. My question is about people from other worlds, and it's a two-part question. One, have I ever been visited by or taken up by those people? And two, when are they going to truly make themselves known here on this planet? Not a fake landing, but a true landing.
Well, to answer the second part, as soon as you are ready. And you are not ready yet. We are speaking to you as the individual, you also as the collective. The first part of your question can be answered with a yes, but you knew that. The doubt that you're holding is a protective doubt. It is a doubt that is allowing you what is offered to you, often by these beings, which is the law of confusion, the law of doubt, the ability to have an experience and to say, perhaps I imagined it, perhaps it was not quite real. That was a trick of the eye, the lighting was odd, that was a dream. And at some point, your desire to feel the experiences or to feel the reality of what does occur to many of you on this call, indeed, will become more so than your fear of what might occur if you were to allow yourself to understand what is your collaboration with these beings. So the timeline is not for us to say, it is more for you to say, because this is a simultaneous individual and collective timeline to discover or to decipher. We would ask you to ponder where, in what areas are you in delaying of that particular experience, and where and in what areas are you in the anticipation of it.
Thank you, Vagrein.
We thank you.
Everyone, I'm so pleased to be here with you. I have a questions again. I need some help with my channeling progressive, sorry. And I would like to know how can I allow more myself to come? And another question is I have these voluntary movements when I'm during my meditations, and what exactly is happening? It's like the energy is coming through me, and I don't remember after that some of the meditations. This is started recently to happen. Thank you.
Yes. So you might notice the vessel too has some twitching of the head as we are in collaboration with them. This twitching is not something that they demonstrate when they are in their full consciousness of their own body. It is not either that our energy is not processed in some way, But this, what she would call involuntary movement, is an indication of some of, you would say, the kinks in the hose. In the same way, a hose, if some energy was coming through it, had a kink, would jerk. That is what is occurring. The kinks would be the areas in which there is not the complete flow of those energies coming through you. It is 100% natural and normal that at the beginning of an experience in terms of collaboration with what you would consider an external, you did call it more of yourself, which is accurate, yes, but what you would consider an external channeled type of information, there is the disposition to have some kinks to work out of that tube. Even season channels will have some level of difficulty or of what seems to be difficulty in the manifestation of the messages that come through. So these involuntary movements, you can allow yourself, if not to have them, then to at least become comfortable with the fact that they are there. They are indication that you have made progress in what you are desiring to do in your channeling, and are very common if you were to study the experiences that humans who have become channels have had. They will tell you that they've had similar experiences to that. You did, however, say that you need help with your progression to being a channel. And we would say that the word need is one of your kinks, because there is nothing to need. In fact, the easiest way to deeply allow channeling is to have a complete disinterest in it. There is no need whatsoever to be a channel. And that is one of the markers of those who do eventually become open enough to allow any channeling through. See what you need your channeling for, or what you need this progression for, because there might be some aspect or some belief that you're holding on to that your collaboration or collaborator or tors are waiting upon in order for you to discover that you had ever had any need at all before your natural skill as a channel will open up its complete floodgates. Why? Because if you were to become a channel right now, while you need to have this experience, if the experience ever were to change, if the experience ever were to become unnecessary for others, you have set up a conditional relationship with it. You have said, I need this. You do not. You need nothing at all in this life. Your life, your love, your light is unconditional. And aspects of channeling higher energy would not be honoring your free will if they allowed you to set up a conditional relationship with them. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much. I
We
love
thank you.
very much.
Ale, your turn.
Thank you. Hello, Vagrein.
Hello.
I'm experiencing some pain next to the hips. Can you tell me what is this about?
We did tell you the last time we spoke that your hips do not lie, did we not?
Yes, you did.
There is energy there regarding your balance, regarding your movement, regarding your fluidity. Not movement in terms of your physical exercise, but your movement in life, your feeling fluid within life, feeling comfortable within your body. And that area of that body aspect is related to whether or not you feel safe as you are. So your safety aspects are being questioned for you. What feels safe to you, what does not? What feels in flow to you, what does not? What feels like it is in its feminine nature, in its movement nature, in its playful nature, in its creative nature, in its reproductive nature, and what does not? This is what this area is communicating to you.
Okay, so what can I do?
You can ask yourself these questions and take aligned action as you discover either beliefs or situations or circumstances that are not in alignment with what you are currently desiring for yourself. Please remember that your desires are constantly in evolution. So what you did desire maybe a year ago is not entirely exactly the same as what you are desiring now, and you might be moving more into aspects of yourself that previously felt unfamiliar to you.
Yes, hello. Hi, Vagrein. Hi, Jessie.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. I just have, I would like to know what is my gift to the world. I have three passions slash projects. One is working for animals. I have been doing it for a long time. The other one is meditation. I would like to know if I am ready to teach meditation. And the other one is healing. I've done some Reiki, but it seems like I can never feel anything myself, but the people I do Reiki on, they do feel something. So am I really ready to do healing meditation? And would I be able to actually also become financially independent doing these things? Thank you.
We thank you. So the answer to your question is that you yourself are your gift to humanity. And because you yourself have these three passions or interests or projects, indeed, they all are in whatever combination feels completely natural to you, that gift that you do have to offer. This is the case for each and every one of you. The thing that you believe you need to achieve or uncover, or that course you need to take, or that thing that you need to learn before you have a gift to offer, or before you have enough to offer another being, is inaccurate. That thing is never going to arrive. What has always and will always be the case is that you, in your complete package, exactly as you are now, are enough to change the world. So, is your meditation practice enough or learned enough so that you can be a teacher and can benefit others and potentially even have financial remuneration for it? Yes, indeed. And there are ways to do so. You and your special voice and your special way of seeing meditation and your special way of delivering it and the energies that are transmitted with you teaching it to others and the methodologies that you would like them to understand are valuable. There is someone on this planet who is waiting exactly for you to step into the teaching that you feel is coming through you. It is the same when it comes to the animals and the caring of them. You have the ability to connect with animals in ways that some others do not. And those animals in and of themselves have the ability to connect with others. So there is an ongoing transmission of positive energy that if you would like to and could decide to, you could come up with a myriad of creative projects to facilitate that form of, again, now we will come to the word healing for others. In other words, you could have a collaboration with the animals and with people that would be indeed extremely healing to certain beings that are simply waiting for you to make that decision to come into that power. And on to your healing modalities or techniques, it is not necessary that you can feel something because it is not for you necessarily, but it is indeed for someone else. So if there is a passion or a desire or a lightening of your heart when you sense that someone else is receiving something that has been transmitted through you, then that indeed is one of your gifts. We repeat, you do not have gifts. Human beings do not have gifts to give to the world. Human beings are gifts that they have chosen to give into the world.
Hey, hello, Vagrein.
Hello.
I love the fact that my question has almost already been answered by the previous transmission, but it relates to the practical way we can raise our vibration and enhance our evolution on a daily basis. And the message that I've received from you and other channels is that the way to do this most effectively is to simply follow our passion in a moment-to-moment way, being as fully present as we can. Is this the most practical way to move forward? And how do I access the information about the blockages in my energy system that seem to be getting in the way of that? I also experience this tightness in my hips and my my right arm. Are those energy blockages? And is there a really easy way to clear those as I move forward and attempt to follow my passion moment to moment?
Yes, so you ask often for practical solutions, and we give you this practical solution. That practical solution, as you said, not only us, but other channels, other wisdom speakers throughout the eons have always told you to follow your light, follow your love, follow your passion, follow your joy, follow your bliss. There is really not very much else that one would need to do. And indeed, it is completely practical information, because you do moment to moment have a guidance system that is telling you exactly the distance between yourself and your joy. Because every time you're feeling negative emotion, every time you're feeling negative interactions, or what you call negative experiencing, you are simply being given information that you have missed the mark of what does bring you joy, or what does bring you more of that passion, whether it be that you are thinking thoughts that bring you away from your passion, or you are taking actions that bring you away from your passion. In terms of energy blockages, there really are no energy blockages in the physical vessel. There is energy in manifestation of discomfort or pain or sickness or illness or malaise or disease. That is energy information points. This could be the first reframe that would help you to figure out what information is being transmitted to you. So when you do have a physical ailment, whether it be the hips or the arm or that tightness that you are feeling, and you have said it is preventing you from following your joy, we would say, liar, liar, pants on fire. It is not preventing you from anything. You are choosing to use it as some level of excuse to say that in this now moment, it is actually not so important for me to follow my excitement or bliss. It is far more important for me to focus on this negative thing. Now, we're not saying to ignore the negative thing completely, because there is information in it for you. You are able to take that information by being with it intimately, and then figure out ways that perhaps there has been something that has been out of alignment, as we said to our other friend, in terms of movement or fluidity or your femininity when it comes to the hips, or your creation or your reproduction or your safety. And these areas can have this particular type of energy to them. With regards to the arm, again, that is often related to a doing that is being neglected, a doing that is something that you are wanting to come through you, but feel as if perhaps that is not practical. We often give practical, or what you call practical advice, but we are not practical beings, nor are you. You are non-physical beings, having a practical experience perhaps, but more so, far more so, non-physical. So, to find what you call blockages, well, that is easy, because they will shout at you. They will send them to you. To find out what they are sharing, the information beyond them, requires being deeply with them, up until such point as it is all clear to you. But the majority of you do attempt to get away from discomfort, as opposed to cuddling up with it for some time, until it feels safe enough to share what is meant to with you. Does this clarify?
Yes, thank you.
We thank you.
Okay, I'm going to read a question on behalf of someone from the
Yes.
chat. How do we know if we are in the highest alignment with our business? And if we are not, how do we get there?
So it is the same sort of question, in that following your excitement is the highest alignment. Now, we will also disclaim that following your excitement is not linear. It is not tidy. It is not organized. And you have been in systems that have been telling you to be linear, tidy, and organized for your whole lives. Therefore, that disorder, that chaos that it can seem to be running something like a business in a excitement-based way can bring up much fear, can bring up much sense of, am I doing it right or am I not? What is going to come of this? I don't have a plan. Where am I going? We assure you, however, that the most creative people find chaotic and creative ways to come up with plans. And eventually that falls into place as well. But it does not necessarily look all neat and tidy at the beginning. The best way to have an aligned business is to align with yourself first. And if for some reason you cannot have the complete freedom of creativity in your business, do not worry. Allow yourself to have it in your life. A business is nothing more than an extension of what a being is offering to other selves. So sometimes you do get confused about what the goal of a business might be. In other words, you say, well, I have to make this amount of money or I have to achieve these amount of results. But the truth of the matter is that you are extending yourself to be available to more and more people. And yes, there will be remuneration for that. There should be, there need be, because you are a being on this planet that has worth, that has worth of themselves, and that is in a space where if they do not eat, they would have to get some other type of job. So to be aligned in business is the same as being aligned anywhere else, and they do go hand in hand. If you do not know where to start, start with your own happiness. Everything else will flow from that. Hello.
I would like some clarification on if we want to be more ourselves and stand more in our light and our power. We have to let go of judging of self, judging of others, judging of circumstances. But still, we have to choose what kind of reality we want to live in, what we prefer. And I find that the more I let go of judgment, I actually can have two people with totally opposite meanings and find them both to be all right. I just have a little bit difficulties in how to choose what I prefer without making anything wrong. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes, well, there is no need to choose in that case. So judgment is very different energy than discernment. Discernment is, I understand what my preference is. I recognize that this offering is not of my preference, and therefore I simply do not choose it. There's no need with discernment to make the thing that is being offered to you incorrect, wrong, or some level of that is not the right way to be. Judgment does do that, however. Judgment is insecure while discernment is confident. So you are moving from a space which your collective has been practicing in and experimenting with for some time of separation consciousness, which does pivot upon the aspect of judgment. Because you were of tribal mentality, because you did fear of death when it would come to you from other selves that did not have similar values, and you are still playing this out on a global level. But no one, not one being on this planet is ultimately wrong. And that is a hard thing to wrap your head around. Because if those beings that are doing the things that are horrific to you are not wrong, then what are they? Well, they are simply more of you. So the universe or God or existence itself does not see you with any judgment. It sees you playing out games that perhaps do not serve you. But it does not judge you. It has deep allowance, deep understanding that these games need be played up until such point as they do not. As you come away from judgment and you move into preference and discernment, you will find yourself being able to watch other people, other beings have completely different choices from you, knowing that their choices are valid from their perspective, and that no matter what their perspective is, your own perspective, your own preference is not at threat. This discernment is a mature level of understanding of the fact that you are all one, that every villain is needed for every hero to have a story, so to speak. Then you still do have this playing field that you are on, and with your concise discernment, with you having chosen what is your preference, with you having understood what serves and what does not, you then have the homework or the ability to set boundaries. This is what I will tolerate, this is what I will not. And that still does not mean going against anyone else being right or wrong. That simply says, this is where I am in this space and what I will choose, and these other things are what I will not choose. We did like what you were saying about having two beings that you are interacting with that have completely different viewpoints on any subject, and you not finding either of them to be that compelling and swaying you either way. Neutrality is the way the universe functions best, and also completely unnecessary because as you are pendulum swinging in your energy, you can continue in whatever directions that you are wanting to go in for as long as you would like to go. But again, the universe does not judge you. So you are coming to a space that feels better for you. Can you please repeat the second part of the question and what was preoccupying you about the fact that you're moving towards this neutrality?
Yes. I guess a little part of me, even though it's quite funny, but a little part of me is afraid or insecure about if I kind of see the perspective from each person's view, even though I know what my own perspective is and which one of those two parties I agree with personally, then I can see them from their perspective and have no judgment. I have no judgment, and I understand it from the perspective they are looking from. But still, I think that's what you call discernment. I have what I prefer, and a small part of me, and it's probably quite crazy, is afraid that if there is that little feeling about it in me that, and it, as I pronounce it, I can hear how ridiculous it is, because of course my higher self, the universe, knows what I prefer, and that's what I'm going towards. So I don't need to, yeah.
Yes,
I kind
you
of,
don't need to be concerned also because for whatever argument you are watching, witnessing, experiencing, paying attention to, you have created both sides of that argument. Because regardless of what presents in your reality, it's not as if you only created one aspect of it. You created both for the opportunity to be exposed to both and to know more of yourself. Therefore, the moment you accept both with neutrality and you go, isn't that interesting? When I look at this particular party, I have this particular preference. When I look at this other party, I have this other preference. You have discovered something about who you are. It does not matter who anyone else is. You have not come here to experience their lives. You have come here to experience your own. As soon as you acknowledge that you have a discernment, a preference, a desire, well then, your higher self is already on the case. It is already on no matter who is what, which, where, what, who, why, or how, seeming to be the external manifestation of your desire. Everything now, on either side of every party, is now working towards you getting to experience more of what you would like to.
yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Krista.
Hi, lovely to be here today. Thank you so much for the work that you do through Jessie.
We thank you.
And as I am lucky to have a private session with you soon, I want to ask a question that is more general. As today is the 11/11 portal, how can we release our stories, our judgment, attachments, to really, really shift to love ourselves unconditionally and connect with our higher selves more in a continuous basis, so we're able to receive all the synchronicities, messages, and downloads to really live this truly fulfilling life that us humans really feel like we need purpose, but obviously, like you said earlier, we are the gift already. And I'd also like to know a little bit more about these dates, 11/11 portal, other important dates throughout the year. What actually happens in the cosmos, and why are they so important to take advantage of, to align our energies? Thank you.
We thank you. So we are glad you said attachments, because that indeed is what is preventing you from the majority of the desires that you are holding in your hearts. You are attached to what is today, what is now, what is or has been your past experiences, without understanding quite that deeply how each moment is a miracle and in and of itself is, not even can be, but is a portal. You are constantly at the precipice of the next big thing, of the next big breakthrough, of the next big experience for you, because every single experience is big. It is simply that you have decided to see these big experiences as making a cup of tea, as picking up the phone when it rings, as those mundane things that are repetitive to you that occur. We will also let you notice that in the past several years, you have decided to make things quite a little bit more shaken up for yourselves, in that you are not necessarily having your day-to-day experiences in the same way that you have for the past 10 or 20 or 30 years. They have accelerated so that more interesting or more chaotic or more violent or more unexpected things are occurring with you, for you, so that now you are having a cup of tea and there are experiences that are around that are what you would say normal, and now you are having a cup of tea and there is something drastic occurring in the world that you have to respond to. How does one open themselves up more to be able to receive more of the energies of the non-physical? You decide to. You let go of those attachments, yes. It is not how do I let go of attachments. How do you let go of a pencil when you are holding it in your hand? If we had to explain to you that you open one finger and you contract certain muscles and you then allow those fingers to unfurl so that the pencil can fall with the energies of gravity to the earth, we would be here for a very long time to explain something that would be simply done if you chose to do it. We do understand, however, that letting go of any attachments to what seems to be normal, to what seems to be linear, to what seems to be real, can be frightening, can be threatening. But this is also why we often suggest to simply experiment without any expectations. What would happen if you did let go of your fear of whatever it is that is currently plaguing you in terms of your preoccupation? Fear of travel, perhaps? There is one of you out there, for sure, who has a fear of traveling, but has a deep desire anyway to travel. And what would happen if you let go of that fear? Well, first, you would feel relief, because there would not be that fear. It does not mean you have to jump on a jet. It does not mean you have to get your pilot's license. It simply means that you are allowing yourself to let go of something that you know does not serve you. And that action in and of itself would take you to new adventures. So each and every one of you can take advantage of this portal, and we will get on to why it is important in a moment, by finding that thing that you are holding on to and letting it go. Pick it back up later if you need to. Think, oh, that Vagrein is dangerous. They were very wrong for telling me to let go of my fear of public speaking, to let go of my fear of taking that chance. Pick it back up. We are not saying you have to let it go forever. But we are saying that you can experiment, because we do know that you have been experimenting all of this time. Every single time you will take a breath, you are experimenting to see, what does it mean to be alive? now. You have been doing this on a very automatic way. But we are saying you can do it consciously as well. What does it mean to be alive? Breathe in right now. What does it mean? What could this be? With regards to why certain dates are important, they are important because you have given them importance. Yes, at times there have been alignments of planets. Yes, at times there have been alignments of intentions. Yes, at times there have been alignments of collectives that have given importance that is palpable. There are permission slips that are more or less real in your experiencing. But something such as today, such as this, what you call portal, is an opening out of exactly that question that you have asked. It is a desire, a collective desire, a hope that in this moment something can be done. In the same way your holidays or holy days are hopes that something can be accomplished on a collective level. It is a belief that you are more interconnected than you normally feel yourselves to be. When you have a new year, calendar change, when you have a portal, when you have a day that has significance, be it positive or negative, you have anticipation. Your birthdays, your anniversaries, they all have power because you are giving them power. But that does not mean that they do not have power because you are the most powerful. You are the one that gives power to everything. You can make every single day that portal to your own power, or you can wait, have experiences such as this. We can arrange a meeting for you. We have done for many years with you, so that we can play the game of let us collectively connect and step into our collective power. That thing that allows each and every person who is listening to this to, from this moment on, let go of that thing, that attachment that is holding them back.
Thank you.
We thank you. Hello.
How to fully activate my crystalline body and DNA. And I hope the others will get advantage from this sensor. Thank you.
Yes. So this is connected with many of the other topics. Again, unfortunately, we are very repetitive. One of the main ways to have the utmost results for any desire is the following of the excitement towards it in every now moment. The activation of your DNA and crystallization is inevitable. That you are in a space of evolution, each and every one of you, and that your bodies are already physical. They are already energy slowed down into form. We do know what you are referring to, and that is something that will come, but it will come after everything else that you are wanting to do as a human. So when you are done with all of your human business, you will have that experience, and you can indeed also have it while being human. We recently had conversation on this on a very scientific level, but it is not necessary to go into it because there's not so much a how do I do something like this? How do I channel? How do I see spirits? How do I heal others? How do I this or that? The question is more about why do you want to? Does it feel good? And then what else feels good? Because everything else that does is on that frequency bandwidth, therefore automatically, as we said, facilitating that for your occurrence. We will not get deeper into that, but it is a pondering that you can take home, or take back to your home, you are there, and spend time with. Why do I want to activate my crystalline self and DNA? And also, what do I mean by that? What do I think I mean by that? What advantages would that have for my human being? What advantages would that have for the world? As you spend a little bit of time with that, it does not say that you will not have this desire any further, but you yourself will have more clarity on what or what not to do for this to occur.
there. Hello,
Hello.
Vagrein. My question is around circumstances affecting our collective at the moment. We've just had a big election in the UK and also a big election in the US as well. And I think a lot of people are feeling a bit apprehensive about some of the changes that might be coming. There's quite a lot of channelers have talked about sort of things getting worse before they get better, and things that have been sort of perhaps toxic or not scrutinized, not in the light, coming to the surface to be cleansed. I'm sort of curious about the accuracy of those predictions or reports, and also what we as individuals can do to move things along in a positive way. There's quite a few people who have talked about how timelines can change depending upon intention and the intention of the individual. Could you say a little bit on that for us?
Yes, timelines always do change based upon the intention of the individual. And you are hearing these messages from your channeled friends because they do often speak to probabilities or to statistics or to what is solidifying, crystallizing, if we are to use a term, in the collective field. So you are not living spiritually in a system quite like your political systems. We will clarify this first. Spirituality is not about the collective voting and then the majority winning. So if you are seeing beings all around you who are subscribing to fear, and that in and of itself is having you say, oh no, if all of us are afraid of the future, then that is going to call in negative experiences for us. Well, then what you are actually doing is creating your own experience in which there is fear. Therefore, that is indeed what you are calling towards yourself. If, however, you are the one, we will use your terms, idiot, who does not see the danger on the horizon, it does not necessarily mean you are the one idiot, so to speak. You might be seen that way by all of those who are talking of fearful things, but you, in the meantime, are raising your vibration to a point in which you have spontaneous decision-making that arrives to you, that puts you in the right place at the right time. You have the ability to feel good and to appreciate your family and to find ways to continue to thrive through, for example, economic hardships. You have the ability to connect with others, to find new relationships that feel good to you as opposed to those who are bringing you down. That toxicity you spoke of is not only on the administrative level of your collective, it is also in the individual level, and therefore many of you do have people in your lives who actually don't feel that good to them, whether it be because they're imposing their own ideas upon you, or they are fear-mongering, or whatever it might be. You do know already that the probability is heading towards things getting worse before they get better. We have spoken directly to this only because you have such a deep desire for the awakening that is arriving to you that you are calling in experiences that will shake people up quite a bit. Those of you on this call do not have the responsibility of being shaken up. You have already had your experiences on individual levels of awakening to some amount. You do not need to have the experience of much hardship in order to awaken you further, or do you? This is where that individual choice comes in. What is it that you are calling towards yourself so that you can, as we said earlier, understand that you are an unconditional being? Do you need to see lots of conditions? Or can you override it by, whenever you do see a condition, saying, I will love anyways? Fear is indeed the opposite of love. Not because you are feeling it, we understand it. It is also a very useful emotion because you believe it is protecting you. But protection is the equivalent of making sure that you understand that something is separate than what you are. If you're moving into unity consciousness, if you do desire that particular timeline, it will, for the moment, require looking at things that you do not like. And as we said to our earlier friend, finding within yourself that space of discernment, setting your boundaries, and coming to a neutrality without that judgment. We are not doomsayers. We do not believe that you need to suffer in order to evolve at all. But you do have free will to do so if it is your choice. And we are also not saying that those of you who you do witness suffering have all gone, you know what, I would like to go down to earth and suffer. No, they have gone down to earth to show you what suffering looks like so that you can discern, you can decide. Can I look at the horrors of the world and understand the miracle that it all is anyways? And that is the question that you are being asked. Are there ways to protect yourself from what is coming? Yes, it is what we are always teaching. It is find the joy in each moment. And if you cannot find it in this moment, take your imagination and go to another moment. Find what you can so that you are in love as much as possible. And that is the biggest shield that you could possibly hold.
Wonderful, thank you.
We thank you.
Good to see you, Jessie, Vagrein.
Yes, hello.
My questions actually was very similar to the previous one, but I'll see if I can narrow it in. Specifically with the election of Trump, I know lots of people have mixed reactions to it, but personally, it's been great. It's been a great week for me. Not necessarily. It's just my life's been going really well. Just like if there's anything else you'd like to add to in regards to the collective or anything we should do individually with that.
If you are a finger on a hand and you are a finger that is wearing the glove, that is your, or the finger of the glove, that is your identity, that is you. And beside you, you have another finger, and that part of the glove is made of corduroy. And on the other side of you, there is a finger of a glove that is made of silk. You could, in theory, from your perspective, say, well, I prefer silk to corduroy. And you could decide that you are going to invest all of your love in silk over corduroy. And you could spend all of your time talking about how wonderful silk is and how horrible corduroy is. And you could spend so much energy doing this, as opposed to anything else you might have wanted to do as a finger. And then corduroy might be the energy that becomes more apparent. And it would still make no difference whatsoever. We do see how interested all of you are in what cloth the hand is wearing. But you are the hand as well. You yourself, does not matter what material is covering you, are the hand. It is all interconnected. So when one politician or one leader comes to power and another one drops out of power, it is inconsequential if you can remember what is motoring all of it. And it is not some evil plan or plot. You might have layers of that all the way up or towards the way up. But at the very top, whether you are believing in there's this doing this and this doing that, and this is a puppet from this education, this system and that system, at the very top, all that there is all there is. This is a way to understand that it matter not so much who is what you call in power, and far more whether or not you claim your own. That is how one wins the game of politics. By understanding that you yourself and the way that you live your life is what will determine the world that you are living in. No matter who is saying what or making what rules for you to either abide by or not. That is what we would say on any topic related to your leaderships.
Thank you.
We thank you.
All right, I'm going to read a question from someone who wrote to me in the chat.
Hello.
Hi. I've been meditating for a few years, and recently I've started having visions during meditation that predicts events in my life. 2 months ago, I saw my partner would cheat, and it happened. I was also told I'd learn forgiveness and that I'd have triplets. Though my body shows pregnancy symptoms, tests are negative. Are these messages from my higher self or guides, or is something else going on? And could I actually be pregnant?
So you do have what is considered access to the infinite potential realities. Anyone who is a seer of events is having more access to what is visible in terms of the non-physical future events. As you know, time is not linear, and therefore there are those of you who can bypass that with what you would call imagination, what we would call your ability to see. But it does not necessarily mean that you are seeing the most probable timeline. It does not necessarily mean that you are seeing the timeline that will unfold, because the moment you do see whatever it is you are seeing, you have already impacted it. So things change the moment a seer expresses or notices something that is going on. We would say not to worry too much about potential pregnancies if your physical vessel is not demonstrating the results that would be necessary to prove that that pregnancy was the case. Of course, again, it is a question of strange things do happen. So continue to trust yourself and simultaneously find balance with your state of well-being or peace that you are seeking. For worrying about it definitely is not aiding you. And if you are interested in developing your skills of clairvoyance or clairsentience, then do go ahead and practice, but hold everything very lightly is what we are saying. Because when these gifts come online, they may not necessarily be tapping into the actual crystallizing reality that is going to unfold. And again, you are able to alter reality simply by looking at it.
Hi there. Thanks everybody for being here. Why does God need us to worship it?
Well, it doesn't at all. Those are not stories that come from the all that is. The all that is in your worship. That is why you exist. The religions or the systems that you have come together to collect yourselves under, to make connection, to make collective, to create your tribes, etc., are often created in the name of God or with the name of God or with some inspiration from those who do feel that presence of the all that is or of what you call God. But have you not noticed that they tend to personify? And by personify, we mean add personal traits to these characters, thereby removing what would be the all that is into a version that is far more human than it is divine. And by divine, we do mean simply the isness, the energy that animates all that is. So there is no God that requires any worship. There are many stories, there are many systems that have a notion that God would require worship, and some of those systems are in service to the beings that are part of them, and some of them are not. We would say, however, that if, and this is the case for any system, if something is bringing benefit to your life, and that worship is some level of having gratitude or reverence or honor for your existence, for your life, for the miracles of the all that is, then it is not in vain. It is not on, quote, deaf ears. Because in you accessing those energies of appreciation or gratitude, you are living a better life. So while there is no obligation to have gratitude or appreciation or awe of your existence, those energies have been infused in certain religions because they do indeed have a benefit to your quality of life. Does this help?
Yes, I did an AI search on a comparison between worship and appreciation. And it just seems to me like worship is a little bit step above appreciation. And whatever you place your focus on expands. And so I could see it working that way.
Yes.
As far as myself is concerned, I would like to be a channel. I mean, I'm 68, going on 69, and it would be really nice if I could learn how to channel, but I think I'm white knuckling it. And it's, yeah, could you give me some advice on all that?
Yes, we have just now, through your words, discovered what it is, that attachment that you are ready to let go of. There is nothing to fear. So there is no need to hold on so tightly. There's no need to worry too much about it. Allow yourself to be very casual with the whole thing. Talk to yourself. See what comes through when you are not expecting it to. Perhaps when you are sleepy. Perhaps when you have just woken up. Allow yourself to be in a playful state with all of this, and you will find that there's far less to fear than you thought.
And I'm talking to my higher self anyway. When
You
I'm
are
talking to
indeed, which is
myself.
what you are channeling.
Yeah. Because we're channeling all the time.
We are.
Okay. Thank you.
We thank you.
Hi, thanks, Vagrein.
Hello, thank you.
Yes. You've touched on the answers, I think, with some of the other questions, but I'll ask anyhow. I've really been wanting to open up to my clairs, because I just think it would be a lot of fun, and I feel like I would like to receive more clarity of decision making and direction in my life, and I don't want to feel like I have to go to other channels or psychics or whatever. I mean, I love hearing from you, but ultimately I would love to do my own channeling and receiving my own answers. Although at the same time, I recognized I'm talking to myself as I talk to another aspect. And yeah, so I guess I've got a couple questions in there. Like, for me personally, how I could do you have any suggestions for me to open up, especially to clairvoyance more, just because I think it would be really fun to be able to see the different energies. And I've always just loved what is called fantasy, what I believe are real, the fairies and the dragons and all that. I just think, and I would love to be able to feel like I'm having a conversation, with the different guides, and knowing who it is coming through. And I guess also just wondering if I am already receiving messages, like I will write sometimes, or just especially when I'm in nature, receive messages, and because it just seems to be claircognizant, just this knowing, I guess the doubt comes in. Well, is that higher self or is that more egoic? So.
Yes, so we have covered many of the questions. We did mention that it is important to know that you do not need to do any of these things. You do not need even an excuse. When you were outlining why you were going to enjoy these particular things, then explaining to us what purpose it would hold in your life. We would say, you do not even need to hold a purpose. It was good enough to say that you thought it would be fun. We would stick with that energy. Allow yourself to say, this is going to be much fun, because then you do not need to put a pressure on yourself as to whether or not these skills, these gifts are going to solve your problems, whether or not they are going to make your life better, whatever it might be that you then followed up with. You can let all of that go and say, you know what? I want to have clairvoyance. I want to have clairsentience. I want to have claircognizance because it will be fun. Guess what? The universe is on board with you having a lot of fun. That is step one. Step two is that faith. That doubt is unnecessary. Keep that faith. Have the faith that when you are talking to yourself or talking to a fairy or talking to a dragon in your imagination, it is indeed 100% true. Why? Because in the same way it is happening in your imagination and you cannot see its physical form, you have created all of the physical form that you already see. Like you said, you have created even us. And if you can create us, you can speak with a dragon in your mind easily. You do it all the time. Allow yourself to remember that your imagination is a powerful tool, as powerful as your intuition. We would say that, or inspiration, we would say that your imagination is the outgoing signal and inspiration is the incoming response. So imagine your dragon and imagine what the dragon would say, and you will find that sooner or later, you are not imagining what that response would be, but you are being inspired as to what that response would be. And that is simply all that channeling is. It is the allowing oneself to think, you know what, I must be crazy. And therefore, being okay with being crazy is one of the criteria of being a channel, or of having clairvoyance, or of having cognizance. They are criteria of allowing oneself to believe that the thing that is coming to them is true. You have been told so often not to believe your imagination. It is safe to believe your imagination, as long as you are knowing that it is not conducting any of your affairs and is simply a resource or a tool that is a wonderful part of you for doing whatever things you are wanting. So we are very excited for you because you are en route to more of your gifts, en route to more of yourself. You will have more and more experiences as you allow yourself to have more and more experiences. And we can indeed confirm that when you are writing or when you are in the forest, those are signals that are coming from, quote, external to you. But guess what? You yourself outlined the paradox. If you are hoping that some sort of message will come from outside of you, then that is ego. If you are knowing that there is nothing outside of you at all, then that is where the truth lies. We know it is odd, but separation is ego, and everything else is all that is.
Wow, that was a perfect answer. Thank you so much. I feel
We thank
very
you so
encouraged.
much. We have time for 2 more questions.
My question is, I heard you say something to the effect of that, something about permission slips, some of them being more real than others. And I was wondering if you could expound on that. My previous question was going to be about the election. Maybe this could be tied into that somehow, or into the politics that's going on this time. But I'm interested in knowing more about how some permission slips are more maybe valid. I don't know if that's the right word, but some may be more real than others.
Well, they are more charged with energy and therefore become more real to you. This is another good reason to practice neutrality. Because yes, while it does take away some of the fun games of having a mystical experience on a specific day, what it also does is take away the charge from all of those things that perhaps you have been giving importance to that are not nearly as important as they need be. So they are more valid because you are focusing more upon them. There are myriads of cultures in the world, all of whom have different holidays, all of whom have different traditions on the holidays. And you do sometimes get to witness something that is completely different than you by being exposed to information about what another group of people is doing. And we guarantee for you that any group of people who has come to a consensus that a specific day is very important, say the 25th of December, that many beings will go around and hang up lights, and many beings will buy presents they don't even want to buy or can't even afford, and they will make all of this effort running around in order to fulfill what they believe is the importance of that particular day. Neutrality will take away some of your holidays. It will take away some of your portals. It will take away some of the effects of some of your crystals. But at that point, you can decide what you are assigning your importance to. We are not knowing if this is satisfying your question in terms of the elections, but again, that is indeed another space where people are using what has occurred as a permission slip to express certain energies that were available to them, whether or not their candidate won, whether or not they got the results that they wanted to get. People use permission slips all the time. In fact, you need to often. You all can fly, but not without a jetpack. You all can use telepathic communication, but not without a chat app. You all can have food arrive at your doorstep, but not without the technology that allows you to do it, or a neighbor that brings you by some apples. So your life is a series of permission slips strung together. Those portals, those days, those crystals, those experiences, those energies, or wearing a certain color, or arranging your office in a certain way, all of these things can be used to your advantage. We would say, do not eliminate permission slips. Do not say they are unimportant. They are very useful tools for you, but choose them wisely. Do not choose permission slips that allow you, or that force you, or that you feel forced by, into anything that is not in alignment with yourself. Does this help with your question?
Helps a lot. Thank you. And I'm going to have to go back and listen to that again. So I just wanted to, I've heard it said before that we can have or do anything that we can conceive of, basically, is the idea. And so in light of what you've just said, I guess, is there more that you could add? Because like you said that we could not fly without a jetpack. And so I've understood from that is possible for me, that I could fly without a jetpack, but I just have to get into the space of that. So if you could add to that.
You would indeed have to get into the space of that. And the one footnote we would add to that is that it is not in the majority of your themes for you to spend your life force energy getting into the space of that. It is in some of your themes. There are those of you who can levitate. There are those of you who can bilocate. There are those of you who do have extra human gifts. But for the majority of people who have chosen to become incarnated as human beings, it is not necessarily in your cards. However, you are also simultaneously working on every form of technology so as to make it available to whoever it is that would like to have that availability via the form of something that seems logical to you. You might at some point Willy Wonka yourselves and have a chewing gum that will allow you to fly. That could be the case. But up until that point, as there is something that makes sense to you, it is not necessarily in the themes of others. That said, however, your statement of you can have or do or be anything that you want is indeed true. And the outside statement that we would add to that, because it is necessary for you now, is irregardless of circumstance. There is a way. That will and way means that you do have the ability to continue to exercise your free will, even if it seems that you do not.
That was great. I'm not sure if my phone just cut off for a minute there, or if that was just a pause within the whole programming, but I will have to go back and listen to that. I greatly appreciate it.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Vagrein and
Hello.
Jessie. I've spoken to you before. My question is a personal nature. I'm going through a very challenging time in my life right now, in my marriage, the ending of my marriage, actually. And at the same time, I believe that I'm being called to work as a hypnotherapist in the world and being of service in this way for my highest good and the highest good of all. I do very much feel in alignment with this work. And I know that creating my own business has its challenges, and I'm learning all the time. And I feel in alignment with in doing this. My question is, am I on the right track? Am I interpreting my wanting to be a hypnotherapist yes, indeed, in alignment with my soul's calling and with the work that I want to bring to the world in this lifetime? And will I be able to create financial independence for myself by doing this?
So we do see that your desire to do so is indeed in alignment with you, because when we played out the version of this conversation in which we said, no, it is not in alignment, your heart sunk a bit. Did it not? In other words, if we were to say it was not correct for you, you would have a negative feeling.
True. Yep.
That is indication enough for both us and yourself that it is indeed what you are wanting to do. It is indeed valid for you. It is indeed in alignment for you. Because if it were not, you would not have a negative feeling. You would be like, oh, phew, I don't have to go and do that thing I didn't want to do now anyway. But that is not the case. You might have fears about doing it. You might say, oh my goodness, why is my higher self leading me towards this thing? But if anyone were to tell you you could not do it, you would fight them tooth and nail. This is what is correct for you. Can you have a livelihood based upon it? Well, yes, you can. It does require other skills. It does require you accepting that there will be other things that you are needing to learn or wanting to learn in coincidence with this particular skill and this particular ability. It does mean that you will have the opportunity to learn how to find new clients, how to learn other aspects of yourself so as you can have a business and be able to have that pay your bills or whatever it may be. But it would be wrong of us to say no. It would be wrong of us to say, no, you cannot earn that, because isn't that what the world has been saying for you all this long? And the truth is, there are not many of you who are happy. There are many of you who are not happy with what you are doing, even though it is the safe option, so to speak. There is no such thing as the safe option. And now coming to your question about, are you on the right track? You are absolutely on the right track, because you cannot be on any other track than what you are on. There is nowhere else to go but to live your own life. Many of you try to live someone else's life, try to do something else so as not to be yourselves, so as to get away from this curse that your higher self is constantly asking you to do the thing that seems most difficult, constantly asking you to do the thing that seems most risky, constantly asking you to do the thing that seems most fun. Yes, indeed, they do coincide. Accepting yourself, accepting that this is who you are, and nobody and nothing can do anything about it, not even you, not even your fear, is one of the fastest ways to coming to a healthy exchange for your services. Because when you know that you really do not have any other option, that this is what it is, or else, then you are suddenly in a position where it makes a lot of sense for you to really invest yourself in making it work. And you can, because there have been those who have come before you who have. And there's no reason why you are any different than them. You are you, and you are valuable in those ways.
Thank you. And this personal challenge of my marriage ending, is this part of what needs to happen in order for me to step into my power and become the person I've come here to be?
Yes. Well, we will state that that aspect of your question did not even linger in our answer at all, did it? And we will point that that is your own energy. Yes, your marriage is ending. Yes, it is difficult. Yes, it is painful. Yes, you are readjusting. Yes, there are many things that have to do. Yes, there is still love there, but there's also an incompatibility. Yes, there's a lot going on. But there's an aspect of you that is focused on that occurring more than truly your inner being is focused upon it. In other words, you on your non-physical level are already finished with that challenge and very ready to move on to everything that is next.
Thank you very much.
We thank you.
And Jessie, recently my mom had passed, and up until sitting here watching these questions, I had other questions, and then that one's kind of pushed its way in. So I'm wondering if there's some energies that she would like to bring forward. I'm feeling like somehow I'm supposed to work with her going forward.
In time. You are still in a space where you are not able to fully access her directly because it is required by your energetic body to feel the emotions around her passing. Even though there's an aspect of you that knows that energy simply transforms into other aspects, that she is still available. It is correct for you to not have access to that availability up until such point as you have allowed yourself to feel the feelings that are within you. A gentleness, this is coming from her energy, a gentleness with oneself is what would be of most benefit in this now. A softness, and knowing that the energies of mothering or of nurturing that were at times embodied by her have not gone, that you are not alone, but that in this now moment, temporarily, you are required to provide them for yourself. Allow yourself to feel that her energy is with you when you are sad, when you are fearful, when you are mourning. And when that period and that energy has cleared for you, you will have more access for any projects that you will eventually create together. Does this resonate for you?
Yes, actually, that makes perfect sense. Thank you.
We thank you.
That's great validation.
We have enjoyed thoroughly this interaction with you as a group. We are hoping that it has been of benefit to you. We will have you know that you are connected more so than you think you are. This group is in a collective with such deep desires for unity, with such deep desires for self-acceptance, with such deep desires for service, that it is a cross-section of your general humanity that is of much benefit to all. And for that, we are very grateful for your time, for your energy, for your presence, for your attention, and for your love. And with that, we leave you with the light and the love of 1,000 suns. Anai. Oh, hi guys. Well, Vagrein's going late today, it looks like. I hope some of you are still here. Okay, yeah, looks like. So, hi. To me, that feels like a really great session. I hope that quite a lot of you got your questions answered and that you had the ability to chat. I have a bit of residue about what was going on. A lot of really interconnected questions. So I feel like it all strings together cohesively for even people who maybe weren't here or going to watch the replay, etc. So I'm really grateful to you guys for your ability to share. I actually want to see you guys. I only see like one or two of you. Okay. Oh, okay, great. So, hi. Yeah, so I'm a little dopey. I always come out of trance. I always forget that I should do all like the stuff I want to share with you guys. I should do it before I go into channeling because afterwards I'm a little bit dopey. And like I said earlier, I've lost my notes, but that's okay. What I wanted to share with you guys today is just sort of how excited and happy I am that Vagrein's reach is expanding and that you guys are sharing these messages with other people, that you guys are out in the world living some of the wisdom that they share with you. That is so important to me. And I do see it on the YouTube channel comments. I always read all the comments and I see, you know, names popping up over and over again. Of course, those are handles, so I don't know exactly who's writing what, but I want you guys to know that I really appreciate that and excited about everything that's to come. I am doing another one of these events, but it's a ticketed, like a paid event in December. So it'll be smaller, which means that there's more chance for more people to, you know, who are participating to get their questions answered. So feel free to check that out on my events page at www.jpherman.com. I want to thank Chantal so much for her help and selecting all the people. Thank you so much. That's really great. And for, you know, for reading out. I think you read out some of the questions as well, which is really great. So whoever's a little bit of an introvert gets to share their questions as well. So that's really beautiful. And all of you who I recognize your faces, thank you so much for being here. And those of you who are new faces, thank you too for being here, because now I get to recognize you the next time you pop up. I did want to share with you guys, I did mention at the beginning, I'm going to be offering you guys a gift, and the gift that I'm offering is a collection. So I've created a demo sort of the what would you call it, the dashboard of the upcoming membership site, which will be launching in January.
Oh, and welcome to your demo dashboard for the Vagrein membership site. This was created just for you to get a feeling of what the membership site is going to be like. These links are not working on the demo site because they are reserved for the actual membership site. But right here, you can have a watch of this free video from a channeling session, a group session that hasn't been released to the public. And you can listen to this audio track here called Be Who You Came Here to Be. That's a 34-minute track and a over 1 hour video session that's available to you right now. The rest of the site is to show you how things are going to be. You can find out more by clicking this link and check out that. Here we have the demos for the important and special audios. And down at the bottom, you have a full transcript of one of the earlier Vagrein sessions. This one's really great. It is going to make you feel really good about where you are in life, because that is what it talks about mostly. I'm super excited to be able to provide you this demo of the membership site way in advance of the site actually launching. And of course, the site itself will look perhaps slightly different to this and have many, many more features, because all of these buttons at the top, the audio, video transcripts, etc., are going to be functional. Here you can also expand your video. You can look at it at full size and see what is going to be content that has never been released before. I'm currently taking applications for the Moldavite tier of the membership, as you know, so make sure to scroll down and hit that button, or halfway through the page and hit the button, so you can find out how to apply and exactly what is the pricing of each of the different tiers. I'm super excited for this release, but more than anything, I'm so happy to be able to provide you with some content that hasn't been seen before. And so I really hope you enjoy. Please remember, the website is www.jpherman.com/demo-dash, demo, DEMO-DASH. And the password is going to be 1111 demo-dash. So go ahead, check it out right now. I'm so excited that you get to see this, and then do check out the rest of the information about the membership site. I'm thrilled to be able to offer this to you. Now we'll have, so the dashboard page has the newest video, the newest transcript, the newest audio, etc., right on your dashboard when you come into your membership site. So I decided, you know what, I'll pop on some stuff that I have that maybe most people haven't seen. So the video that's going to be on there for your gift of this demo dashboard is an old group session. And I think I see some of you that, when I was just looking through that, they're actually on that session as well. So you'll see yourselves. And an audio file that is one of the audio files that was originally a meditation, and then also a transcript. So the actual membership site is going to have tons and tons and tons of content. I have like a backlog, I think, of about 700 or 800 sessions at this point. Obviously, they're not all going to be on the membership site right away, but part of my desire is to convert all of this content so it's available to people. But it is going to be that people are consistently getting new content. There's going to be the library, et cetera, et cetera. So I want you guys to have the link to that is www.jpherman.com/demo-dashboard. So I'm putting that in the chat right now. Okay. And the password for that is 1111. Okay, so that'll pop up. You'll be able to get into there, and it's available right away. I do suggest, however, it's much nicer on desktop rather than mobile phones. It does work on mobiles as well, but it's like, the format, you're going to be reading, like scrolling, like, I don't know, 10 pages of a transcript. It's really long, okay? Of course, I'd be honored if you would consider in January, when the site is ready, joining up to one of the tiers. And I did want to mention that the applications for the top tier, which is the Moldavite tier, are open now. So the difference between the lower tiers that are Amethyst and Labradorite and the Moldavite tier is that the Moldavite tier has a limited number of participants. It's only 20 participants. And those people will be having monthly group coaching calls with me, where we look into their intentions, we look into their desires, we come together as a group, and we focus on up-leveling as sort of a unit for everyone's desires, supporting each other, etc. So that's a little bit more intimate, and I am taking applications for that, so you can contact me if you want to look into that. But for the other two tiers, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait until all the content is uploaded in January. And even the Moldavite tier, we're just taking the applications now. It's still opening in January, and it's going to be an amazing, amazing new year for that. So I'm super excited. So, in all the membership sites, I'm going to be offering significant discounts to everything else I do, because I really believe that if you guys are willing to invest in spending time with me, there has to be some level of reward for that, because, you're my people. So so that's something that is really important to me. Actually, you know what? The whole thing is on my actual real website now. If you go to jpherman.com and you go to membership up at the top, I recently switched that out from the wait list to all of the information about the actual membership. And that has all the costs. What it also has is this crazy infographic, because I decided I was passionate about infographics for a day.
of like what you get in each tier, the differences between them, little check boxes and colors and all kinds of things. I had so much fun with that infographic. But the great news is like, if you're a visual learner, it's very clear what the difference is between all the things, and then the prices are all there. And of course, oh, Tegan says it's very detailed and clear and detailed. Thank you, Tegan. So the other thing is that for the first joiners, there's a discount as per usual whenever I do anything. Yeah, so it got late. Sorry to have kept you guys 10 minutes longer than anticipated, but it's great that we got to answer so many questions. I love you guys. That's all I have to say. And
I love you too very much.
Oh, thanks. Oh,
I always love you.
oh, you're so sweet. So thanks so much for being here. I hope to see many of you in December. You can go out and check out the site and get your early bird tickets for another little while. And if not, then I'm sure I'll see you on YouTube. I actually have a podcast episode coming out this Friday and some more sessions coming out. So it's an exciting week. I know I was a little slow on YouTube the past couple weeks, but it's all coming back to normal. So I love you guys. And I'm so happy you guys came. Oh, this is so wonderful. Have an amazing night.